You.
Yes.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Here's my video for homework packet number 14 rather, which is due tomorrow, February 12th. I got asked when the latest date is that you're able to turn this in. Ideally, you're turning this in tomorrow. Monday is your last day if you would like to have homework over the weekend.
Hello.
And then we have 10 problems. Alfredo, you did not get the shout out. You need to do your English work. All right. Valerie, of course you can get the shout out. Prime Time's over here, DJ Prime Time. All right, solve the following equations using any method you choose. So this is solving. So we want to get something like x equals 0 or x equals negative 5.6. We want to get numbers that will equal the solutions of these equations. And the reason why I know these are equations is because they have equal signs. So I've included the 4 different methods of how you can solve quadratic equations above: graphing, factoring, square roots, and quadratic equations. The quadratic equation is the only one that will work every single time. I'll mix it up and match it up as we do a couple of these problems. So this first one I'm going to do with graphing. Y equals x squared minus 5x minus 24. The reason why I can go right there is because this side equals 0. Make sure that you always set the equation equal to 0. When I graph it, I can see that there are going to be 2 solutions. We're going to use the table to figure out what they are. Second table. There's the first one right there, where you're looking for the values where y equals 0. X equals negative 3. And then if you saw from the graph, there's going to be a positive solution as well. So we need to look in the table and see where the positive solution is. 8. There's our answers. Problem number 2. I'm going to do this one with factoring. A equals 4. I'm going to circle that because I know that I need to DRS at the end. B equals 7. C equals negative 15. Set up my diamond. A times C goes on top. A times C is 4 times negative 15. Negative 60. B is 7. What are numbers that are going to multiply to negative 60 that are going to add to 7? I know this off at the top of my head, but if you wanted to double check your factors, you do the top number, 60, oops, divided by x, and then go to the table, and that will give you your positive whole number values. And here I can see that 12 and 5 are going to be manipulated to get to 60. So positive 12, negative 5. X plus 12 and x minus 5 equals 0. That's not my final answer. I need to DRS. I need to divide by A, reduce. 12 divided by 4 is 3. And then negative 5 over 4 does not reduce. So we leave that as negative 5 over 4. S stands for swing. We swing up any values that are left in the denominator, and that gives me x plus 3 for x minus 5 equals 0. That's still not my answer. I need to set both of these equal to 0 and solve. X plus 3 equals 0. How do I solve for x then? I subtract 3. I use inverse operations. So then x equals negative 3. Here's my first solution. And then I need to do 4x minus 5 equals 0. Add 5 to both sides. Will not give you very much room. 4x equals 5. How do I get rid of the 4 in front? Divide by 4. X equals negative 3, and x equals 5 over 4. Are you done? You want to do it over here? Want me to turn the computer so that you can watch me do it? Or do you want to watch me do it like this over the computer? You want to start with number 3? I'll let you copy numbers 1 and 2. You can jump in with number 3. Okay, because I'm only going to do a couple of these. I'm going to make you guys do it. Do you need to move the phone, or do you need to move this stuff over here on the desk? Sorry, Alfredo's being difficult over here, ladies and gentlemen. And yeah, there's a calculator right there, Sophie.
Alright.
Oh man. Oh really? I'm not really new video.
Alright, cool.
Okay. Problem number 3. I'm going to try this one with graphing. I personally really like graphing, and if graphing doesn't work, then I use the quadratic formula. So, fortunately, this equation equals 0. I don't have to do anything with that. I'm going to go into y equals, you going to follow along in number 3?
Yeah, I guess.
5x squared plus 3x plus 1. When I graph it, I can see, ooh, this one's unique. If you can see this one, the vertex does not cross the x-axis, which means this one is going to be no solution. Problem number 4, the only thing that makes this one different than all of the other ones that we've been doing is there's this negative 5x on the right side. I need to make sure that the one side equals 0, just like in problems 3, 2, and 1. So I need to use the inverse of negative 5x to get that right side to equal 0. And then you need to put it in order. X squared always goes first, and then the term with the x goes second, so that's positive 5x. And then the constant goes next. This one I'm going to do is factoring. A equals 1. If A equals 1, do I need a DRS? If A equals 1?
Yes.
No.
No.
It's like I don't even teach them. C equals 5. And the fact that we're recording this, I have a feeling Luis will probably say something he normally does whenever I goof off like this in my videos. Okay, so A times C goes on top, which is 5. 1 times 5 is 5, and B is also 5. So what numbers are going to multiply to 5 and add to 5?
Are you asking me?
Factors of 5. This doesn't work. So this doesn't work with factoring. And so then I'm going to go to graphing. This is one of those perfect
Attention all
examples.
scholars, will Jonathan Huerta please report to the front office?
man.
Jonathan Huerta, please report to the front office.
In trouble, Jonathan. X squared plus 5x plus 5. Let's graph it and see. This one should have 2 solutions. So let's check this one. Second table. Ooh. And so even with graphing, you can see that the numbers get smaller here and then they start going up. And that means that the solutions are decimals. Now, there's one of 2 things that you can do here. You could do the quadratic equation, or I've taught you another way that you can find the zeros or the x-intercepts. And you can go over to 0, and these will give you the exact numbers. Left bound. Some of you might remember how we did this. This one was much more difficult.
No.
Right bound. X equals negative 3.6. I'll just round to the 1 decimal place. And then let's find the other one. Second, calculate 0. Is your calculator even on?
Don't work.
It doesn't?
No.
Are there enough letters in it?
Yeah.
The other one is negative 1.4. Can I go get one out of Miss G's suitcase?
Me?
That one, that's the one that doesn't work.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, don't work. What'd you say? Miss G's what?
Miss G's suitcase,
Is
over
that-
there, do you want to borrow? Right here in the corner.
Where?
Sophie. Oh no, don't put that one in her suitcase, sweetheart, because that one doesn't work. No, leave it on my cart, because that's the one that doesn't work. Okay, problem number 5. again, this positive 6 on the right side of the equal sign, we need to get that to equal 0. So I'm going to subtract 6 from both sides. This gives me 2x squared plus 3x minus 6. This one I'm going to do the quadratic formula. Negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. Where did I get that from? From your formula chart, reference chart. Okay. A equals 2, B equals 3, and C equals negative 6. Negative B, negative 3, plus or minus the square root of B squared minus 4A C over 2A. We don't need to do any keep, change here. So this will stay as negative 3 plus or minus. And I told you guys that I want you to do what's underneath the square root first. And you're going to put it exactly as you see it in the calculator. Three squared minus 4 A C 57. Did you get that?
You know.
You didn't get 57?
I
Over
didn't
2 times
even
4.
put it. It's like, I don't know, I'm confused.
Let's double check if 57 can be perfectly squared. Square root 57. Nope. So that means we're just going to leave it as the square root of 57. This will be our answer. I have time to do one more with you guys. This side equals 0. And this is a unique one because I have a 2x squared and then I have a constant term. I'm missing a middle term that doesn't have an x. So this is one where I'd be able to use square roots. So I'm going to use square roots just to show you guys an alternative example. So in square roots, if you turn over to the front, it says use inverse operations to isolate the x squared term. So here's my x squared term. I need to isolate it just like I would any x that I'm solving for. So I'm going to add 32 to both sides. And then get 2x squared equals 32. Alfredo, how do I get rid of the 2 in front?
Subtract?
Is there an addition sign between these two?
No, divide.
And then get x squared equals, what's 32 divided by 2? Use your calculator. Use your calculator. Gosh.
What? How do I take this out here? 32, what? 16.
And what's the inverse of squaring something? Taking the, what did I say?
Taking the...
What is this little symbol?
Oh, that?
The square
Square
root.
root. Yeah, I forgot that.
We have to make sure we put plus or minus in front of it because that's the square root rule. So what's the square root of 16, Alfredo?
8. Is it? No.
No.
4. Heavy, bro.
Plus or minus 4. Alright, let me keep going. I have time to probably do one more before I have to go to school. This is very much so just like problem number 6. It's missing a b term, but I'm going to show you how to do this one with the quadratic formula because again the quadratic formula is something that you can always use. So what's our a value here?
3.
3. Our b value, this is a trick question. Do we have a b value?
No.
No, so it's what? 0.
0.
And our c value is negative
192.
192. So we're looking for negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. What's our b value, Alfredo?
0.
So there's no such thing as negative 0, so we'll just leave it as 0. Plus or minus the square root of 0 squared minus 4 times what's my a value?
3.
What's my c value?
192.
Careful, what type of 192?
Negative.
And then over 2, what's A?
3.
Mm-hmm. So if I have 0 in front, I don't need to worry about that 0. So it's just going to be plus or minus. And I want you to do everything that's underneath the square root sign first. 0 squared minus 4 times A is 3 times negative 192. And I'm going to wait until you get your answer first.
Wait, what?
0 squared minus 4
Oh.
times 3 times negative 192.
Alright, wait, what is it?
It's okay, sweetie. You take your time.
0 squared what? Minus 4 times what?
3 times negative 192. Masuko really needs to get her nails done.
2,304.
So plus or minus the square root of 2,304 over what's 2 times 3?
6.
Let's see if 2,304 is a perfect square. Ooh, perfect.
Yeah.
48. So this goes to plus or minus 48 divided by 6. Let's see if 48 goes into, or 6 goes into 48 evenly, rather.
8 times.
8 times. So it's plus or minus 8. That's our answer. And have you guys do the final 3 on your own. And what will be helpful is with my video, I'm going to post a Desmos graphing app for you guys to use where you're able to find the x-intercepts. Or Masuko will be at school early on Friday morning. Or you can ask me during school tomorrow because you know that I'm going to let you guys turn this in on Monday, but it just means that you have homework over the weekend. So these last 3 will be done on your own because I have to go to class.
What about Francois?